today's episode, we take a look at the dollar again with setups on USD CAD, USD JPY, and gold, and we also have setups on New Zealand dollar JPY and pound Aussie dollar. As always, we also take a look at some of the best trades from our Discord trading room. Enjoy. Welcome guys to another weekly market review. Last week we started focusing on the dollar and looking at potential bounces, and this week I'm going to continue looking at the dollar to see if we can find that reversal to ultimately take this dollar higher. Now last week we actually discussed this 3 drive pattern on the dollar, and we actually ended up forming a perfect 3 drive. And this enabled us to get quite pinpoint perfect entries on some of the dollar pairs such as Aussie dollar, Euro dollar, New Zealand dollar, USD CAD. So it's been a pretty good week from a dollar point of view. Now there's a couple of scenarios on the dollar still, and what happens with these 3 drives, often you get the 3 drive just give you a bit of a reaction before continuing lower. Other times a 3 drive can actually be the bottom of a complete reversal. So we're going to have to keep both scenarios in mind. I actually have an example of 2 trades I took a few years ago. And on the left here we have a bullish 3 drive on the USD JPY, and this one actually ended up being a complete reversal. You can find it on your charts quite easily. And on the right hand side here we have one on gold that actually we had again a perfect 3 drive. It made first target before continuing higher. So you must bear in mind that both these scenarios are still viable on the dollar. If we don't have the reversal, then potentially we can come lower to this flip zone area. But as it stands right now, this 3 drive is actually looking quite good. And if you find any sort of corrective price action here, then hopefully we can take this dollar higher. And with that in mind, I'm going to be looking at a few dollar pairs quickly. Alright, now looking at USD CAD, we also discussed this one last week, and we mentioned that we're looking for a move into this flip zone area, which I marked in orange here on the 1 hour time frame, and looking for reversals. And in our trading room we actually had quite a good entry. We actually managed to enter the market over here, and we've had quite a good move since then, allowing us to take some profit and having some in a free trade. Now, this market never cleared this downtrend, so we are technically still in the downtrend. So it is possible that this was just a correction and the market is now going to head lower. If that is the case, then if the market breaks these lows, we've got to wait for new setups, or even break these lows over here, then we have to wait for new setups to take this market higher. But what's important to note is that we're only looking for long setups on this pair. However, I have to consider the fact that this could be the low. This, everything's sort of, working out as planned. So for now, if we assume that this is the low, we do have actually one of our reversal patterns over here. So once we get to these lows, I will be hunting for some price action. And if you have some price action, perhaps if this low holds, then, this market will end up going higher. And we have quite significant targets on this one to the top of this whole pattern over here, so quite a big move we're expecting. So yeah, I'll definitely be watching this one once we get to these areas and looking for some patterns. And if that low doesn't hold, then once we get to these lows and these lows, I'll again switch to a long bias and look for those reversal patterns. Now USD JPY is another promising looking USD pair. We've covered this also a few times. We had this market have this impulse, and we believe that it's forming the correction now. We did look for some longs over here, but after that, what the market is doing is looking a little bit corrective. And what I expect this market to do is perhaps make another low after it clears these lows. We'll have this little ABC corrective pattern, and hopefully over here we'll start to find those reversal patterns to take this market higher. Alright, next up I want to look at gold, and this is a chart submitted by Andile in our trading room, and he's looking at a potential triangle reversal pattern. Now I'm going to be going into my trading view chart quickly, and we're going to have a look at this potential triangle that's forming. Now for triangles to be high probability, it's best when they set up around about the 78% fib. And if you draw your fib here from A to B, you'll see that's exactly the retrace is exactly on the 78 fib. If you draw it from B to C, again you'll see that was exactly on the 78 fib. And now we're looking for a move, if you draw it from C to D, to this 78 fib area where we'll hopefully find the reversal. And the nice thing is it is also a bit of a flip zone or Quasimodo, whatever you want to call it. The market had this consolidation, broke out at the consolidation, and then impulse down. So perhaps if we do find gold moving back to these levels, this might be a potential place that you can watch out for reversals to take this market down at least one more time. So thanks for that one, Andile. I really like this one, and we'll definitely be watching it. All right, then finally, I just want to cover a couple of non-dollar pairs. And the first one is New Zealand dollar JPY. And this is one we actually already took in our trading room. A few of our traders got in at these levels over here. But what I'm looking for with this one, after the market, cleared these highs of this range, it had the consolidation and then it broke down. And ideally, if we do find corrective price action back to this flip zone area, we can look to get short this market, and we can hopefully take it to the bottom of this range to complete this structure to the downside. It is possible that this pattern was a contracting flat and that it's just going to go higher. That is a much lower probability for me, and I think it's much more likely that we're going to go to the downside. Again, there's no guarantee, but from a probability point of view, this looks much more likely to me, so I'll definitely be taking this trade considering the really good reward ratio that you have on this setup. And the last one I want to cover is pound Aussie dollar, also one that we've covered during our market reviews. And what I'm looking for with this one is we have got the impulsive move, and then we're looking for the expanding flat to eventually take this market higher. Now, ideally, I wanted to move back to this 50% fib. We didn't get that, but we did actually clear these lows, and we did have a big consolidation, and we did have the impulse. So it's quite possible that this low is in, and with that in mind, the next sort of corrective pattern could be a running flat or actually an expanding flat. So once we get down to these levels, I'll look for on the lower time frames and see if we can get that reversal to take the market higher. There's a very small chance though that we might still clear these lows to take it to the 50 fib. If we do that, then again we just look for new setups. All right, thanks guys, that's it from me. I'll see you all in the trading room. Good luck.